And over the next few weeks, Q posts began telling the whole sordid story of how Luciferian elites have been planning on overthrowing America for decades. The Q posts assured everyone that a Patriot alliance led by President Trump is fighting them behind the scenes, repeating over and over again to enjoy the show and trust the plan. This is now becoming the mainstream narrative.
You there, brother?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Ramblin' Randy. This is the AM Buzz, and welcome to the call. I am in the process of doing a first-time daytime call here, and we're checking to see if basically what I'm doing is I'm learning this platform, and I am kind of getting used to it, and believe it or not, you are the guinea pig. And what's called now, when you hear that in the future, that means that your microphone or your phone has been muted. And hopefully I will open up the chat, and let me see how I can do that. Just one moment. And we will, you'll be able to type in any questions you might have. Okay, the chat should pop up there. You should see it there on the right side. If you'd like, if you're in here, you can type a message, and I'll respond back to you, and we can double check to see if that's working there in Florida. If you would type me a message, and hopefully you're on your PC so we can check this out. If you are not on your PC, let me just do this. I'm going to come out of lecture mode. Participants are now unmuted, and again, this is being recorded, and we'll see this later. And hopefully, whoever's calling in, are you on a PC or are you on a cell phone?
I'm on a landline.
You're on a landline, so you're not on a PC or a screen where you can see the screen that I'm sharing.
Correct.
Correct what? That you're on a screen or that you're not?
I am not.
Okay, you are not on a screen. This is a test call to see if I'm the platform that I'm currently using, which I'm very familiar with the platform, but I'm just not familiar with some of the new twists that they have. And when people, if you would, when you call in, you have the link that when you first came in, it said, would you like to connect via computer or via a phone, and you either dial in or call. So you'll see that on the instructions, and the instructions would look something, let me see if I can bring it up here real quick easily. They would look like this. Let me see how I can do this for you. I'll go to here, and then I'll push invite participants. And this is what you should see. Hopefully, well, you're not on a screen. So when you do come to a screen, you're going to see a message similar to this content here. It's going to have a link on it, this link right here. You can click on that link, and it will take you to, if you're on a PC or even on your phone, you can click that link, and rather than dialing in, you can actually hear it over the Internet on your PC or your phone via VoIP, voice over IP, and that way you can actually see the screen as well. So we will follow those directions. For those that simply want to, you can see it right here, those that want to join via the Internet. So we'll move right along with that. I'll go back into, I'll leave it open, so in case there's a comment from anyone in the audience that is listening, that they can be sure and chime in. Do you have that? All mics are unmuted. Do you have the ability to, as we're going through this, that you can pop in and have a question? Understood, everybody? Give me an amen. All right, great.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. So we've got a feedback from the audience. People, I am absolutely in shock today of what's going on in our world today. It is mind-boggling, to say the very least. And
can I jump in here?
You sure can.
Well, first I want to introduce myself. I'm Randy's sidekick. My name is Jim Pike, and I'm in Florida. And I agree that we have never, and I underscore the word never, even thought about living the way we have to live now. And what I'm hearing is it didn't come from China. Our illustrious deep state cabal arranged for it to get here, and they deserve all the credit, ha ha ha, for this. So there you have it.
And then where do you derive your, I mean, when you say that it's they that did it, China that did it, what caused you to come to that conclusion, Jim?
Well, you know, being a military guy, I have very strong military contacts, and my military contacts have told me it was supposed to look like China, but it wasn't. It was the deep state cabal here.
Okay. Now, your deep state, I mean, your military contacts, where did they get their information? Do you know?
They floated through Reno, and then it comes to me.
What's going on in Reno?
That's just there's a very large population of my guys living out there.
Your guys. And then are they, tell us about that. Tell us about, because here's what we're doing, everybody that's listening. We are a group of individuals, just like the gentleman here calling in from Florida, Jim. And Jim has been riding with me, and we put blood, sweat, tears, money, everything that you can imagine into this thing for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And now's the time to for all good men to rise up and shine, or shut up, sit down, and get out of the way. We got issues now. What we're looking to do is that we're a group of people with questions, and a lot of us are researchers, and we go down the rabbit hole, thus, i.e., the Rabbit Hole Herald. And then, because there's a lot of us who will not be able to be down every rabbit hole, there's thousands of them, and we all need to have, we as a group need to have someone down them holes so we can get information. We can't all go down them together. And so but when they do, they bring us back information, and this is what we seek. This is the criteria. We can't deal in third party. I think it is. I got a group of guys over here. We balled up and chewed on a stick, and happen to have a little Crown Royal going on, and this is what we think. By God, now what we need is when someone puts forth content to this association, this community, they need to have links. They need to have links, and they need to have the ability to show us, so other people that are going to be, we will use this because in uswetrustnews.com. We have gotten sick and tired of people that, in sources like mainstream media, that every word, every time they move their lips, they're lying. We know this. I mean, it is blatantly a lie. It's an agenda to try to downplay or to sabotage the good work that Yellowhead is doing up there in fighting a great battle. So when we exchange content or value or information, and one of our members does, in fact, bring us something that's validatable, that other members can run down that rabbit hole, chase that link, and they too can get the warm and fuzzy that in fact is something that they, for today and pretty much today only, can consider to be factual. And we will have people that will continue to follow that down that rabbit hole and make sure that things stay according to the way that they had presented it to be, because believe you me, it can morph, and it can change into something that the agenda really was all about. So in the case of what we're doing here now, is this is again one of our very first morning call. We're going to try to grow this call, and but bring to us when you have an idea. Now, if it is an opinion, everybody's got an opinion, and that's perfectly fine. So when it is an opinion, please voice it as an opinion and third-party information, or provide content or links that we can chase down, and then you post that as something as powerful as what Jim's sharing. You post those links and your interpretation, your own opinion of it on the rabbit hole. When other members see it, they can validate it, and if it's good, solid information, they can send you a penny, nickel, dime, or quarter. That's what we're all about. We are a self-funding ecosystem that where for example, if someone's looking for a particular answer or a question, they have a question, they pose it on the rabbit hole. Other members go run down the rabbit hole. They look, they bring it back, and if it's good, and there might have been 1 million people that would like the answer to that. If in fact that's real, and we have a link, and people can chase it, they see it's good. 1 million people could flip that person a penny, nickel, dime, or quarter, and that could have been the very first day they got involved with us. That's a wonderful thing. Let me get back over to Jim, because he has some very interesting information there he was sharing, and we'd love for you to post it up on the rabbit hole. So you've got a group over in Reno that do information, and they feel strongly that, what was that again? And can you provide us some links or something that we can, the rest of the group can run down and chase down?
Not for that information. These guys are considered black ops guys, and they just tell me what's going on. But in the last 2 years, anything they have ever told me has come to pass. These are not opinion guys. These are the guys that do the thing.
Okay. Now, for everyone else, this is being recorded, so we have this content. Everybody can evaluate it. What we would need to do in a case like this, and if you as an individual hearing this call for the first time and you want to come to the call, here's what we need. We would classify that as hearsay and as third-party information and unvalidatable. That, and not that Jim's information is rock solid for him, but unless others can get the rock solid feeling, it's a dead horse. I mean, we look at the news every day, and they're telling us something, and they've got 15 or 20 different good solid sources that say this. Well, I can take you right over here real quickly to this video that I was just running, and this is Trust the Plan. This is on the Q deal. But what I wanted to show y'all, and I was trying to put it on the rabbit hole last night, and we have got massive issues with the rabbit hole because we're coming over onto the from one server to the other. But this chick named Amazing Polly, that one of our current members turned me on to, this lady right here. If you're on the screen, you can see Amazing Polly. And you can see on this right here, Not So Trusted Voices. That's the one that I want you to watch. Because what Jim's talking about here,
panic. They also have
listen to this. Let me pause this a second. And this is the tactic that they use. What they do is they get professional people that are doctors, lawyers, or whatever the case may be, and they post these people up here as being good, solid information that people can trust. They're called influencers. And these influencers, I'm looking for a panel here to show you exactly what she's talking about. But this would be a good one for you to watch. Oh, this cat here. This is unbelievable. I'm scrolling over here to show you a list of these people that Polly's talking about. And here it is right here. These are trusted voices. Now, Jim's got some trusted voices. Jim knows these people. But Jim's sources, because of their sensitivity or whatever the case may be, as far as the information goes, it's not privy to be broadcast to the world. And that is good, solid information for Jimmy. But here's what happens, and here's what we need to be cautious of. When anybody says, well, I've got some good sources, and they tell me I've got some trusted voices, as you can see here on the screen, and that's exactly what Polly's talking about. Listen up to her here.
How dare you? How absolutely dare you question whether some random post on Twitter might be a lie? How absolutely dare you? It's too serious. What if it's true? You wouldn't want to insult this woman by doubting her if it's really true. I've had enough of it. I'm over it. I don't care. Evidence points to that being false, in my opinion. The best part about this, though, is that this girl, Kimberly Starr, who defended the fake narrative, or the questionable narrative about the uncle dying, guess what she does for a living? PR and strategic communications expert and crisis communication. I think that's hilarious, and I will remind you one more time That's exactly what Matthew Harrington does, crisis communications. Heck, she might work directly for Edelman. We don't know. But anyway, she's the one out there policing the narrative. And look, this is one example for you, but there's thousands of these examples out there. I just can't go on all day showing all of them. So just so you get the point, I'm showing you kind of a little piece. But I hope I've gained enough trust with you that you can believe me when I say there were hundreds I could have chosen from. Okay, now we go into a slightly different...
Now let me, for those that do not have a screen right now and you're not watching this, you can watch this again on Twitter. I'll be putting it up on Twitter. Right now, our platform, the Rabbit Hole, rhh.news, does not accept YouTube because it has to get an SSL certificate again, and that's language that we'll do on this end. We'll have that operating in the future. That entire platform is going to be revamped. The navigation is we run on a very, very trim, very lean running machine here. We don't carry a lot of baggage like massive customer service or things. We're counting on the people that we bring in having enough snap, enough intuitiveness to catch on fairly quickly. So what you're hearing here, or what you'll see when you watch the video over on Twitter or on YouTube, I'll push it to YouTube as well, is that she's discussing the fact that the World Trade Organization, WHO, World Health Organization, excuse me, the head of the World, the CDC and the World Health Organization is a known genocide in Ethiopia. He promoted the genocide of untold numbers of people, and has been doing it for years and has strong, strong ties to the Chinese Communist Republic of China. So, and so does Fauci, the guy who's speaking on our CDC every day on the Trump task force. I believe the yellowhead has him in there, just give him enough rope to hang himself so that he can show the world that the WHO and the CDC suck as well, and they're lying, cheating bastards as well. However, what Amazing Polly is doing right now is she is showing the world that what they do is they get what's called trusted advisors or trusted voices, as you'll see on the video. I'm pointing at it right here. And they go get out and get 15, 20, 30, 40 doctors that are whores that will say anything, and they'll come on and they will downplay everything that is good and pump up the things that are not. And so the reason I bring this up is that this is what I call an unseen mirror. This is life showing you. If you'll recognize what life's telling you, like right now what Jim is giving us is good content so that we can have this conversation. Jim's content is Jim's private content that others have shared with him, that he has been, by giving his word not to divulge his sources, becomes an internal thing for Jim's group to have that knowing. But for us, it's hearsay. We have to take it as hearsay because we don't have the ability ourselves to achieve the same level of comfort, trusting, and knowing as does the source, who cannot divulge those for security reasons. So, in the future, if you have something that has the ability to be vetted, share it with us along those lines. If you have something like Jim is sharing, please share it as well. Let us know is an opinion and that it is something that they feel strongly about, and that's what makes us work. Because when we can hear someone say, yes, I have this from trusted sources, I cannot divulge those, but here's what I heard, take it for what it's worth. Do your research the best you can, and at some point, if I've ever freed up where I can give this content and links and sources, I will do so. Otherwise, bring the content like this. Like when I was saying that if someone was to say, well, you can't ever trust all these people, these doctors and everything, well, and there's a lot of people go, and that idiot won't even trust doctors. I mean, he is an absolute idiot. Well, when you come in and you show someone you have quickly at your fingertips or within the resources of the Rabbit Hole Herald where we could hashtag trusted voices, and when someone gets a little statement like that, they can go to the rabbit hole and they can do a search, trusted voices, and all of the content that would support why we say that trusted sources have to be light shined on them is because of what magnificent or amazing Polly is showing us right here. That is the ambient, the river, doing for us what we can't do for ourselves. We can't all be down the rabbit hole, every single rabbit hole. Jim's down this one now. He'll keep us posted on what he finds in that arena. There will be thousands of arenas just like that. So if you do have content that's of great value, and Jim could continuously share his story about his private contacts. And if other people were to hear Jim on this call or see him in the rabbit hole, or anybody for that matter that they're following, they could give them a token of their appreciation for the effort that Jim has done and the effort that anyone has done to go find content for us to bring it to the rabbit hole so we can get that warm and fuzzy. So when you do that, then people will get a following. You'll get a reputation of bringing good content that people enjoy, people appreciate, and you'll start a following just like a penny, nickel, dime, quarter. Every single day.
Thank you very much. I laid that up for you, and that was a great explanation of what I call hearsay. Let me switch to some factual stuff.
Okay, let me finish this one point for everybody so that they'll know I was on a roll there, and it is that please bring it along those lines of continuity so that we can go further. Now, Jim, go ahead, and what was you saying?
Well, actually, on the factual side, and I can point to Fox News and CNBC for this, Nancy Pelosi is going to be indicted for breaking all the House rules. And now we have a 5-minute test for this COVID-19, and also they're coming out with an immunity test. Mm-hmm. This is out of Trump's mouth yesterday. The immunity test is really exciting for me because at that point, when they find somebody that's immune, they can make a vaccine.
Yes, let me get back to one point there, Jim. Let me ask you a point before I forget, because sometimes climbing life's ladder, at the age I'm at, I sometimes forget things. But you had mentioned that Nancy Pelosi is getting indicted. When did the indictment come out? Where can we get the link on that indictment?
That was on Fox News.
Where's that link, though, that we could get on? Do you know where we could find it? Man, I'd love to see that.
Let me go back to it.
If I
can find it, I'll post it right on the rabbit hole.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Now, folks, if Jim posts that on the rabbit hole, and those that are members, the site is back up and functioning. You can't get YouTubes over there, but when Jim posts that up, then we go over that. Let's hit him. Let's show our appreciation for the effort he's done to bring us that content of what he's saying. That today he heard on Fox News that Hillary Clinton, I believe it was, he said.
No, I think Pelosi.
Pelosi is being indicted now. And what was did they mention what on what grounds or what the
breaking all the House rules?
Breaking all the House rules. Okay, let's get that link up there because McCarthy, that is an internal House ethics.
That's who said it this morning on Fox News. Speaker McCarthy.
Okay, great, man. I can't wait to hear that. I sure hope.
Now let me go further, please.
Okay.
About me, when I came back from the military, I was in the military 71 to 79, and Randy and I probably were over there at the same time. I was a little north of him and all that stuff, but nonetheless, when I came back from the military, riding a motorcycle, I got into an accident. I spent 4.5 months in the hospital. In the first 3 weeks, I died twice. Had the whole experience. I can get into that when I'm person to person with somebody. I always share that when I can tell they're real. And so as a result of that, I never lie, bullshit, or make anything up. I'm a straight shooter. I don't miss what I shoot at. And basically, I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. So, at this point, what we need members that can provide us with eyes and ears all over the country. There is so much going on every single day. We want to grow this network to have our own army of eyes and ears everywhere. We can actually move and shake things if we can do that.
I agree with you, Jimmy. I agree with you 100%, brother, and I appreciate you being there. Appreciate you being there. That's exactly what we're looking for, people. We're looking for, here's what it comes down to, is that we're all teachers and we're all students at the same time in our community. And that's the way it is in life. You know, period. When you become proficient at something or you become aware of something, the gift or the power and your further movement along the lines of what you're doing is it when you share that with someone. Because when you share that with someone and they get enthused, you know, we can only run so fast on the amount of energy that we've got to run. However, when you share what you're doing with someone, they like it, and then they start supporting you with stored energy that they have. They extend that in the form, and believe you me, money and energy are synonymous, and I can take you down that little rabbit hole and explain I will at some point. But right now, when you infuse energy, your energy into those people, you're giving whoever that is that you're supporting your own personal energy that you expended, be it from the sweat of your brow or your creative mind. You stored that energy when someone else recognized it before. You stored it yourself, and now you're giving that energy and giving that runner that I just explained a little bit more energy to keep on running. That's how this works. We have a closed-in distribution system of energy.
And the beautiful part about it is, as Randy describes it, we call it dusting. We can dust somebody who contributes factual information on the rabbit hole that we consider important and is meaningful for us, and we can share, you know, pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters with that person. So that's the purpose of this. It's all tax-free. You don't have to pay tax on a quarter, and if you get 1,000 or 2,000 quarters, it's still tax-free. So that's how we constructed this framework, so that we can share among ourselves and appreciate each other for their contributions to what's important to all of us, which is figuring stuff out.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head, Jimmy. It's nail on the head. I will say, though, for those who may be coming aboard here recently, or you're going to be going out and explaining some things to people, I would leave the tax benefits to the very end. It's going to take some explanation, because you could, in the very beginning, when you say something is tax-free, you're going to get the head spinning on a lot of them walking the other direction. They'll feel like
virus-free here.
Virus-free here. They will sense that it is just a shammy deal, because who thinks you could get something like this? Who thinks you could receive $1 million tax-free? I mean, you have to lay the foundation. So that's the only advisement I'd have, is I'll handle that part of it until someone's proficient at explaining it, because it does take a little bit of walking around the mulberry bush, holding their hand and soft speaking to them until the light goes off. When the light goes off and they see that Caesar's not going to cut their head off or give them, 19 lashes with a cat of nine tails for stating that statement, or attack our platform for making proclamations, there'll be a foundation. So Jim is absolutely correct. They are a burden-free. But it's only riding the coattail of what I call grandmother's Christmas gift scenario, and we'll get into that. A Christmas gift that a grandmother gives to a child is, if it's $5 or 50 cents, we'll say 50 cents in this time. No one in their right mind would think that child is going to have to turn right around and declare that as income on their tax return at the end of the year. Now, if not only the grandmother, but 10 or 15 people send the kid 50 cents. That means he'd have $2 or $3, but they're individually sent from the goodness of each one of them's heart, expecting nothing in return. Would the kid still now owe $2 to $3 of taxes to the IRS for receiving it? No. Each one of those were individual. They all came from an individual. There was no collusion. There was no conspiracy to get together to send a large sum of money at the end of the day to one individual so they could go out and do dastardly deeds. That's not the case in the law, the way Caesar's written the law. We're using Caesar's law against Caesar, as Caesar's been using his law against us for years, called the fractionalized banking system. So what we have done here is that by individualizing and making micro donations, we don't have anything over a quarter that you can hit. You keep hitting that quarter, but it's minimal in size. And so when someone receives, and I also ask the question, and you can explain it this way, well, that's great. Kid doesn't have to turn that $2 in, even though 5 people send him, or $25, even though 5 people send him $5. It's not taxable income. So the next question would beg, it's an individual determination, since it's individuals sending by themselves. What if the family consists of 1 million people that sent the kid 50 cents? That'd be $500,000. Would it in fact be tax-free? Based on the letter of the law, yes it would, because each one of those individuals sent 50 cents. None of them were colluding or conspiring for the individual to end up with a lump sum. It was all done, and we send a gifting statement. No matter if it's a penny or a quarter, a dime, or dollar, it doesn't make any difference. Every single gift going from one of our members to the other, showing their appreciation of the value that they gained from the content that that member posted up. Each one of them is accompanied by a gifting statement saying that the individual sending the gift expects nothing in return, monetary or otherwise. They had not been coerced, colluded, or ramrodded into doing this. All free will.
Now, Randy, you're breaking up a little bit, buddy.
Okay. People, that's priceless. Now, one of the things that Jim just said there, that is an unseen mirror, that tells me it's time to say this. Every single individual, as you're listening to one of these calls, or anything that's broadcast over the internet like this, it's a group call, it's going to be based, it could be based, and we will mark this, and by the way, I will look along the timeline here and see when Jim asked that question. If the recording comes back smooth, without a lot of breaking up, that would be a bandwidth issue on the listener side. I'm just letting y'all know that. So that you can tell your people when you are mentoring other people, if they're saying they can't hear real well, it could potentially be, if this test that I just said, if we listen to this entire video after it's rendered and put up on YouTube or Twitter, and there is no disruption, or I'm not breaking up, then that would validate the fact that with the bandwidth on the individual that's receiving the listening, their bandwidth is breaking up, and that's what's causing the buffering sound. So we'll double check that and see. I need that content.
All right, now, Randy,
I need that content so that I can see if the platform that I'm using here, free conference call, if it's their bandwidth. Now, what did you say, Jimmy?
Okay. Now, this morning, talking about, you mentioned the word conspiracy a little while back. I want to hit that because I listened to Bill Gates this morning. He said something in about 2015. He talked about pandemics here in 2015. Now, isn't that interesting?
Very interesting. Very interesting. And also, they were discussing 2 weeks prior, there was a panel. It was a climate control panel. He was on it prior to the breaking loose over in China of this thing, discussing the procedures of a pandemic. And that's awfully coincidental, if you ask me. All of a sudden, they have all these CEOs that retire, and many people are trying to run it, go, oh, people, that's always, they're always retiring my ass. Bill Gates doesn't retire from Microsoft just out of the blue. And you've got all these others popping off, and there's many feel that they are backing away because they're going down under until the wind blows over and see how many people they have fulfill the Georgia Guidestone's genocide program, having this thing down to 800. I think it's some crazy shit like 800 million people on the planet. But that's crazy. You know, when you hear something like that, someone say that there's a group of individuals out there that are trying to kill 80, 90% of the people on the planet, so we get down to 80 million. You think, my God, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And I have an individual, my better half is calling me right now. That's exactly what that call was, and I'm letting her know that I am live on the call. Would you like to say something that would be broadcast across the globe? Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Okay, that is the other half here. She is in Temple with her mother, and they are in lockdown. So that puts us at a distanced interaction here. It kind of sucks. So would you like to say something?
Yes, we're maintaining social distancing, and my mom is 78, and my stepdad's 70, so I'm definitely keeping them in the house so they're not out unless it's to get exercise, and that's it. So, I go to the grocery store and just make sure that everyone stays safe. Lots of sanitizer and wash their hands all the time.
And a lot of vitamin C, right?
Yes,
I'm very much a vitamin C addict, and Jimmy, as well as the party on the line, Lauren, my beautiful little bride here. She's on the phone here. Now, let me ask you this, Lauren. Down there, you're next to Fort Hood, correct?
Yes.
And what is speak up a little bit? And what's the climate like down there with being that close to a military base?
Well, a lot of security. A lot of people watching, eyes are everywhere, and so I think that the level of security is more heightened than maybe if you weren't so close to a base. Definitely,
What about the stores and everything? How's the shelves looking?
Well, right now, shelves are kind of sparse in some places. Depends on the product. Eggs are hard to find. I know that any kind of butter or
things
meat,
like that.
That's very difficult. There's plenty of seafood for some reason.
Yeah, our seafood markets down here are closed. They shut down our seafood markets at Brooklyn.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Right now they're doing temperature checks in the front of the stores before anyone goes in. That's
oh my God,
Jimmy!
Is that happening to you in Florida? Y'all starting to get the damn checking people coming in the door, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
They're checking people at the door for their temperature in Florida?
That's what they say. They have roadblocks to do that. Not here, but on the East Coast for the people that come off.
Okay, I'm asking right there in your venue in Fort Lauderdale, not to give up
I'm not in Fort Lauderdale, brother. I'm in St. Petersburg, the other side of the state.
Okay, in the area, I stand corrected, in St. Pete, are they checking people with thermostats or thermometers going in grocery stores, yes or no?
No.
Lauren, is that what I understood you to say, that they're actually checking temperature at H-E-B or somewhere?
Absolutely, yes they are. They're doing it at H-E-B and Walmart.
Have you seen anybody get pulled off to the side, for God's sake?
Well, no, I haven't seen that, but I noticed that since Trump spoke about the reality of maybe we need to readdress the issue with face masks, more people are starting to wear them now. I
hear you. Is there any way that you can get your little cell phone up there to H-E-B and film someone being hit with the thermometer check next time you're up there? Could you do that for us?
Yes, absolutely.
Please do that. Thank you very much, Lauren.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, all right, we'll talk to you later. I'll call you back. Bye. All right, that is a report from the field, 2 reports from the field. That is what this call is all about, this call and other calls. It's not just about sitting here listening to me ramble. This is about feedback from the field. This is about content that we can count on that very second if it need be to save our life. Not third-party information, hearsay, what have you. If that's good for you, it helps you, that's great. Hope it does. We need you. But we need that content that everybody can say, okay, that applies to me here. Let me go down and let me put my weight down on that and make sure it's happening. So one of the things you'll need to do is understand the different forms of content as they'll come to you, especially when it's an opinion. Everybody's got one, just like a rectum. But and I have many. Not to say that my opinion is in any way factual. Run the facts yourself. That's what we are, Sub Rosa Research Society individuals. What does Sub Rosa mean? Back in the Templar days, the Knights of Templar, there were secret societies, and they did their research under the radar, so to speak, below the rose. They were secret. And so it became a phrase, Sub Rosa, meaning sub, meaning below the rose. The difference now with our association, it's not the red rose indicative of the Knights Templar. It is the yellow rose. And from my tone and accent, you might discern why it's called the yellow rose. It's the yellow rose of Texas. So that was the logo of a company that I started called Yellow Rose, or Texas Rose Petroleum, and Texas Rose is yellow. Just a little bit of FYI there about the presenter here at this moment. So going back into the theme of the call is that now when you go to the computer and you see this video that I'm creating, that for those that are not on a PC, they would be seeing it if they were, is that I'm showing you on Zero Hedge. One of the articles says, what if the Fed did nothing? With each new monetary stimulus and round of bailouts, our society will find itself fewer and fewer savers who can be squeezed to rescue the economy. The word squeezed is the definitive word here. Because if you feel any pressure from the outside and you don't see an invisible python squeezing you, well, you can count pretty damn sure that it's the U.S. government trying to extract as much revenue as they can from you to help save this fake-ass economy that they have propped up with manipulated stock prices, your manipulation of holding gold and silver precious metals down, because they know at the end of the day when this thing crashes and they're stealing all the gold that they possibly can, that that's going to be basically hard assets are going to be the only thing standing. So we will have these morning calls. We'll try to grow these calls. It's going to be dependent upon you to help me build these morning calls so they can be beneficial. The clock's ticking, people. This is effective this year, and 2020 is the year to see clearly. And if we don't make magnificent strides forward and keep Yellowhead in there for another 4 years,
we need to keep him in there. The Dow is down over 750 points again today, and it's only going south. So if it wasn't for Trump, let's say, we would be in very deep hole, because if Hillary got in, we'd be in a world war now, and all wars are bankers' wars. They make money on the way in and on the way out, and we would be in one now because that's how she rolls.
That's exactly correct, Jimmy. Very well stated. Very, very well stated. We will say that we do not know what would have happened for certain, but based on the tea leaves, and if anyone's got any lick of sense or can stack a few words together to make a coherent sentence, I believe that you would concur with us that Hillary Clinton should be swinging from a yardarm. I mean, period. We would be. So
she looked good in orange, that's for damn sure.
We'll see how all that stuff shakes out, people. So if we need to build this call, we'll be doing the best we can. What I'm doing on this end, just so that everybody knows that here's this, you can go to Twitter, and I'll show you on the screen, and you can see. I'm gonna push this one here. I don't like pushing that one because I don't trust it. The screensaver I've got is all right, here's the Twitter page, and you can find me on Twitter, get you a Twitter account. It doesn't matter, you say, but a lot of people say, oh, it's getting mixed up with the cabal, they're going to know where I'm at. They know what color your socks are you're wearing right now. Get a Twitter so we can use that platform to communicate. Enough said. When you go over to Twitter, you're going to see when you get to your computer is that what I have highlighted here is what you search. In the search engine of Twitter, you'd put in the little @ mark. See where I'm putting it on the search engine? I'm putting @ and then lowercase all, and then underscore. That's that little line that goes down below the letters, you know, the underscore. Hippies, Hippies, and you're going to see me pop up right there when you go to search, and there it is right there. You see that?
Hey, Randy, how many people do we have with us?
Right to my page, and when you get to the page, what you want to do is you want to follow that page, and then you'll be able to be right on our page. What was that, Jimmy?
How many people do we have with us now?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Can you tell from your side how many people we have on the call now?
I don't have that pulled up, Jimmy, but there are, as we were discussing being our first call, we will have to see. I'm sure that once we run this, we'll have a lot more, but I don't have that panel pulled up at the moment, Jimmy.
Roger that. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So you come to Twitter and you put in doing the search, and by the way, your Twitter username, if you happen to be an existing member of the Rabbit Hole, try to search first for your Rabbit Hole Herald username, so it will be synonymous with, be the same as the one that we use on the Rabbit Hole, the same as the one you use on Twitter, so that when you're posting on Twitter and someone sees our people, they will know that that's the same username as we have over in the Rabbit Hole. If it's not the same username, we'll make an indication to show that that's not the same username on Twitter. If you've had your Twitter account for a while and you're not a Rabbit Hole a member as of yet, when you sign into the Rabbit Hole, use your Twitter handle or your username on Twitter. That way we can find you and it will be synced up. I hope that makes sense to everybody. If not, I'll go over it many times, and so that we can...
I'm Gulf Side Guy on the Rabbit Hole, and I'm also Gulf Side Guy on Twitter.
Let me go to Twitter right now and find Jimmy. That is really good. So he is @Gulfside Guy. Okay, what's wrong here? @Gulfside Guy. GULLF. Gulf Side Guy. Gulf Side Guy. Gulf Side Guy is David Nyland. Gulf Side Guy on Twitter is David Nyland.
Well, I spell Gulf Side GULFSIDEGUY.
Yes. We'll discuss this, Jimmy. Let's discuss this offline. And because if you'll go to Twitter and put in Gulf Side Guy on the search engine, and then we will make sure that you're synced up with the Rabbit Hole, even if we have to adjust one or the other. That way you'll start off uniform. So everybody, that is our first morning call. We'll call these things the AM Buzz, and you can promote these things out. This is the first call. The time could be adjusted, but we'll have it on Twitter. And when you do go to Twitter, if you will search out all_hippies, follow that one, and I'll be able to see you. You'll be in my following, so everything I post will go to your page, and we'll be able to keep up and communicate that way. We'll be able to tip right from our phone to anyone that's on Twitter that's one of our members that follows the instructions on how they logged in. So good stuff. And I want everyone to remember this, is that on each one of these calls and in life in general, you're going to learn the real truth that you thought was, that all your life you took as gospel. That's an area to start in, by the way. And you find out that it's not true. So once a person who has been honestly mistaken all of their life, no fault of their own, learns the real truth, they either cease to be mistaken and start speaking the real truth, or they cease to be honest. What say you?
Amen to that.
Amen to that. So that is exactly where we're at. Go out today, create a wonder-filled day. It is by choice. Go out, smile at a stranger to make you feel good. And this is Ramblin' Randy in the beautiful deep piney woods of East Texas, wishing you and yours the best. Don't just wake up. Everybody wakes up every morning, except the fact that they're screwing us and trying to kill us possibly, and let's do something about it. This is Ramblin' Randy. We down.
And this is Jim Pike. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe.